welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. Today I have a special treat for you. I'm here with my very first strength training coach and friend Ainoa to share something really valuable for your running journey. So this is Ainoa. She's one of the founders of an amazing concept called Mindful Strength. And I've been coming to these classes. I really like this approach of mindfulness and strength training. Maybe Ainoa can share a bit more about what mindful strength is.
Sure. So raise your hand if you ever went to a class and didn't know what happened afterwards. I cannot see you, but I guess it's raised. So yes, a lot of times we go to classes or we go to the gym and we are not truly present and connected with our muscles. And that's one of the key components of strength training. It's making the mind-body connection, not only for a great form, but also to help the muscles getting contracted and getting relaxed, because that's when they actually grow with like the contraction and the proper stretching and relaxation that they need. So we came up with this concept kind of to bridge the gap of how intimidating strength training is for a lot of people. And it's all body weight and it's still very spicy. So yeah.
It's very spicy. So in today's video, we're going to show you 5 mindful strength exercises that you can easily do at home. These exercises are designed to help you build strength for your running journey. Let's do it together so that you can also listen to Ainoa's cues, so you can really feel it in your body.
Let's go! Cool. So part of the mindful strength journey is to first arrive into your strength practice. It's also important for strength to be very, very present. A lot of the effort is on the mind. So to get in touch with the body and to start loosening up the joints, I always encourage to do CARS, control articulation rotation. So you do a few rounds, a few circles on each of the main joints before you start doing strength. The first one would be the neck CARS. So we bring the shoulders very far from the ears and we start doing circles with our head. 5 to each side. Another example of CARS is the shoulder isolated one. So we bring the arm all the way to the front and all the way to the back. Maximum range of mobility. You might feel it cracking, and that means that you need this even more than you think. So it's good to do it every morning when you wake up to have some mobility on your routine. A very important CARS for runners is the hip one. We work a lot on the hip flexors on running. So we find the balance on one foot. It helps a lot to spread the toes, to think about them as if they were hands. So we increase the surface where we put the weight on. And from there, we start doing circles with our hips. We keep the hips at the same height as much as possible. You can focus on one point, not to lose the balance, and you do 5 circles to each side. Good. And these are just like a few examples of CARS, control articulation rotation, but let's get to the strength ones. That's what we're here for. Good. First exercise, we're going to do something that like a lot of people hate, a lot of people love, but they are very, very effective. It's split squats. There's a lot of variations: Bulgarian split squats, quad dominant split squats, glute dominant split squats. We're going to go through a few of them. So we're going to come to the floor, the lunge position, but the knee is going to touch all the way down. Mm-hmm. That's the way for us to find the starting position. And from there, we're going to push the ground away with the foot in front of us, and we're going to lift ourselves up. Great. And from here, we start the exercise. So we slowly come down, making sure that the knee doesn't come towards the inside, that it stays outside, and then we push ourselves up. Most of the weight needs to be on the front leg. Good. And then we come back down and up. Good. Like this, it's more quad dominant. She has quite of a straight position in the back, and the stance is quite wide. Do around like 10 reps per side, 3 sets, and that will really burn the muscles that we want to work. So focus a lot on this flexibility of the hip flexor that you need a lot for the propulsion, for running. And here we're working a lot on the stability of the knee by bringing some instability on components, which is this like stance and this separation of the weight on one leg. Now let's do it glute dominant, all the way down. So we go back down, and we make this gap between the heel and the back knee a little bit narrower. Good. And now we come up.
So would that be like a hand?
A hand, more or less, exactly. So you keep a hand between that ankle and that knee, and we push ourselves up, putting the weight on this heel, and we hinge a little bit forward, still keeping the chest up. Very good. Core engaged, and we start going all the way down.
Oh, I feel this one.
And there we go with the glute dominant part of the split squat. Here with the glute, we are working a lot on the knee as well. The glutes help a lot, the stability of the knee and keeping a very good form when it comes to running. And the glutes are like the biggest muscle that we have on our bodies. So we need to train it quite a lot to make sure that it's supporting us on the propulsion of running and on keeping the knees stable. Do it for like 3 sets, 10 reps each. Body weight, slow and controlled. That's another key, to do it as slow and controlled as possible, really focusing on keeping the knee as stable as you can and bringing that flexibility to the hip flexor and engaging the glute. So the glutes, the muscles don't get engaged on their own. You need to actively squeeze them. So you think that you have a blueberry between your butt cheeks and you want to squash that blueberry with your glutes. That's when it's engaged, especially at the bottom position. We want to bring the glutes together, squeeze that blueberry, and come up, back up. So the second exercise that we're going to be doing is the single leg deadlift. Here we're working on the stability of the leg, and at the same time we're working on this hinge movement that helps a lot, working on the hamstrings, which are also helping us a lot on the propulsion when we are running. And we need the stability to be built from the foot all the way up. So on this one, we're gonna keep the back as straight as possible, and we hinge, sending the hips to the back and bending the knee only as much as we need to bring the weight forward, okay? So don't bend it forward, just send the hips to the back and press with all the strength, with all the muscles that you have on the foot against the ground to bring even more stability into the game. Good. Nice. Keep the core very engaged and the hips at the same height. Good. Nice. There's a lot of stability that comes from the core, so we need to be mindful of the core engagement, closing our ribs, and making sure that it's counterbalancing this motion that we are putting of bringing all the weight on one side of the body and avoid any instability. Good. Think about your running motion, which joints are used, and what do you need to make your running better. So we need stability. We need to make sure that everything around, like the knees and the ankles, is strengthened. So now we're going to go into back lunges. So for the back lunges, we're going to keep the stability on one foot. We leave it at the front. We keep the core engaged and the chest up, and we go all the way down, and we come back to the initial position. This helps this motion when we are running, of like bringing our strength forward while keeping a lot of stability on the leg that is at the front. You can even give it a little bit of a nudge by bringing the leg up, and then you have the extra movement of running, training that propulsion from the hip flexors to bring you forward even faster. You can do 10 reps on each side, 3-4 sets, and you're gonna be burning. Good, we're already getting sweaty. And that was 3. Number 4. So, a very important muscle that we rarely train when we think about the lower body are the calves, and that helps a lot bringing stability to the ankle and not to overload the calves. A lot of people get very sore on the calves and on the shins when they run, and strengthening them helps having some more support on those muscles for running. So Let's bring our toes one by one to the floor, and we go with one leg in the back of the calf, and we start raising our calves all the way up. You hold for 3 seconds, and I go down. Good. Breathe in, hold up, and come down. Good. Breathe in, hold, 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 and down. And we do, again, 10 to 12 reps of this one. You can even add weights if you're at the gym for this exercise. Bring it all the way up and back down. And after 10 reps, you will for sure feel your calf. Ooh.
Yeah, I feel it.
Fifth one already. Nice.
Last one.
Last one. So a very important part of stability, as I mentioned before, is on the core and syncing different parts of our body. A lot of our tissues are moving across the body. They are not like one single-sided. So we need to make sure that we work the tissues crosswise as well. So we come to the floor, especially the lower back is touching against the ground. So we keep the core even more engaged. So the pelvis are slightly tilted towards our belly button. I cannot put my hand between the back and the floor. That means that there's enough engagement here. And from here, we're gonna keep the legs at a 90-degree angle and the arms all the way up. And here we're gonna work with this crosswise movement of bringing the arm all the way to the back at the same time that we bring the opposite leg down. All the way down and back up. 1, good. 2, keeping the core very engaged. Here we're working on the power of the hip flexors by bringing the leg back here, working on the cross tissues by having one leg and opposite arm working, and a lot on the core engagement, which is the one responsible to keep everything in balance. Good. We will do, again, 10 on each side, 3-4 sets. Well done. She did the class yesterday, so it's a little bit intense. Great job.
But you should do 10 reps.
You should do 10 reps.
times.
We are here for like the demonstration part, but 10 reps of each of the exercises. You can do them like 2-3 times a week. That's the recommended amount of strength that you should do to like give enough input to your muscles to grow. And think that the muscles grow by extending them, expanding them, and contracting them. So look for like more opportunities to like expand them as much as you can and contract them as much as you can. So go full range of movement as much as you can and activate each muscle with your mind. Like they don't get active just by doing this, but see if I engage the biceps, how much of a difference it does. If you let it loose, nothing is happening, but once you engage it, that's when the body knows where it has to put the power on, and that's when the magic happens.
I think also, like since I've been doing these mindful strengths, and then when I go for a run, like today, I was thinking so much about just my glute. Like I was just thinking about it to try and engage it, because my problem is that I load my calves too much and I always get shin splints. And so I'm really trying to focus on like glutes and quads.
Yeah, to bring a little bit more of like consciousness. And it is hard to run at the same time that you activate the glutes. It's not easy, it takes time.
Yeah.
But that's the moment where you need to like be very present with your run, know how to activate, and doing these exercises before running helps you to have it a little bit more automated when running. Because when you're running, there are a lot of things happening, but to do the work before running, it's very important to then have a very smooth run afterwards.
Yeah. Nice, thank you.
Thank you.
Let me know in the comments if you try out the exercises. I'm gonna link Ainoa's Mindful Strength Instagram and her Instagram channel so you can check it out. And if you're in Berlin, you should also try and come to one of her classes. They're on every Mondays and Fridays. I can also put it in the description. I'm gonna see you next time.